Why the hell does anyone use a compressor? So when we were young, I mean, like in our school days, we had a band, Rare Rainbow, and we didn't have much originals. We used to do a lot of covers, and I remember one specific incident. So we were very much a blues kind of, or blues rock kind of band. But then the main core was me on guitar, sometimes vocals, and the drummer who was the main vocalist of the band, and that was the main core. But then we'd have other people. We'd be jamming with other people. So there was this one incident where we were practicing, and we were playing Sultans of Swing. So we were just practicing. I remember the drummer, like, we didn't have a mic stand, so like he had put the mic on like a water syntax, and like he was somehow singing into it, and the drums was on. He was a lefty drummer, like he is a lefty drummer, so like yeah, he was in a very awkward position, just trying to sing and drum at the same time. And I was playing all the solos and stuff of Sultans of Swing. Now I think there was another guitarist on that jam, and then a bass player. So usually the other guy would play the solos, but on this song I was playing the solos, and he had cranked his volume like pretty high, because he was usually the one doing the solos. Now, when I started playing, when we were jamming, like, right, I realized, okay, I'm not being heard. So what did I do? I went into the amp and I cracked it up. Now, probably when that happened, like the other guitarist might have felt, oh, he was not heard. So he might have cranked it up. And then, I don't know if the bass player probably did the same. And then the drummer's like hitting harder. So, like, like the overall volume of the band just went up. And remember, this is Sultans of Swing, a very clean song, no distortion. So, like, we probably were pretty loud. And so we were staying at the drummer's house. Not we, but I was staying at the drummer's house, and he has an older cousin. So he was like a mentor to us, and he was also a guitarist. So he came down because like he heard all the ruckus that was that we were creating, and then he realized these guys are cranked. So like at that time he didn't tell us much. Like he just me, and I was like a guest at their home, so he obviously did not scold me, but he scolded the others and his own cousin, what are you doing? Like, he reduced the gain, and then we continued practicing that evening, he sat me down, like, without like me knowing anything, over some food or something, like he told me what dynamics means, and he told me, like, you can be loud or soft just with your hand without having to, like, crank everything. And uh, he really showed me, like, how, like, so right now I'm not gonna touch the volume on my guitar, or I could play. So I actually did not know this thing before, like he told me, like I was a very unobservant kid. Like, I just did what I what I knew, and like, it was a big revelation to me. So, and since I did look up to him, like, it was something like, it was very, it felt like, very precious knowledge. And then I started a lot of people doing this, like, again, by Mark Knopfler on the song, uh, what's that song? On the Brothers in Arms album, like, I think the song is "The Man's Too Big, the Man's Too Strong." Either that song, or is it on Your Latest Trick? But in one of those songs, like, he plays extremely softly, and then, even in Brothers in Arms, like, we can hear, like, how he digs into it sometimes, like, so that was the gold standard for me. And mm, after that, like, I really, like, like, even till today, like, like, dynamics is something that is also a big reason why I switched to just using my fingers, because, like, you can't do all those nuanced things with a pick, and, like, you can be really soft with your fingers, and then you can hit as hard as you like with your fingers, but with a pick, like, you don't have that level of control. So I really practiced a lot of dynamics, and nurtured, really, my whole technique, my whole style. However, as I get more onto YouTube, like, I watch also a lot of YouTube, like, there's this pedal called compressor, and everyone says it's, like, very, very important. If ever there is, like, people saying, okay, 5 pedals you must have, like, there's always a compressor, like, and a lot of people swear by it, and a lot of people say they leave it always on. Now, what a compressor does is, it takes your volume, like the loudness and the softness, and it evens it out. It just, like, reduces the range of the loud and soft, and that seems very, that's not what I want. Like, that's the opposite of what I've always wanted. Like, I've always wanted to have big dynamics. And even if I think of, like, bands that, like, I've always loved bands which are, like, really dynamic, like, Pink Floyd. Like, you can think of songs like, on the Wall. There is this song, "Don't Leave Me Now." So, like, there's that very soft part. Ooh, babe, don't leave me now. And that whole section, where, like, he suddenly goes crazy, like, no, I think it's not "Don't Leave Me Now." It's the other song just before or after it. Uh, so where he just goes crazy, where Pink goes crazy. Would you like to stop? Why are you running? No, that's also not the name of the song, but mm, where he goes crazy, he's throwing his TV, like, and everything is so loud. Another example is Nirvana. So, like, they have very loud and soft parts, like, I always love that, like, where you can go from extremely loud to Black Sabbath. Another one, like, like, the song Black Sabbath, like, the very spooky and powerful, and then going into the heavy, like, power chords, like, I always love these things. So, like, compressor seems like the opposite of that, and I don't really understand why people love compressors so much. Now, when I go deeper and deeper into it, like, one video really kind of made me think, maybe I understood what they mean. Not understood, but I agree what they mean. So I think this was Colji's video, and he said this right at the beginning, and a lot of people don't say this at the beginning. No, did he say it at the beginning? Yeah, he did say somewhat towards the beginning of the video that there are some genres where, like, like you should not use a compressor. It was just one sentence. After that, he was still talking about the compressor, but and then he said the two examples that he gave were folk and blues, and just so happens that those two are the genres that are a big part of my music. Like a blues man, I'm a folk musician. Like these two are like like really big elements of my music. So maybe that is why. And he was talking more about indie music, and I don't play indie music. Like I almost never play indie music. I don't even know much indie music. So like I think that is the point which probably everyone forgets to mention. And it, like, to the viewer, and not just to the viewer, but like to the influencee, like whoever's watching the video, like especially if when like we don't have enough knowledge, and a lot of people take that as like the ultimate truth. Like you have to have a compressor, and it has to be always left on. Let's So I don't have a compressor pedal, but I have this zoom pedal which has a compressor in it. So let's, while we're talking about it, let's try it out. So this is without the compressor, and then let's turn on the compressor. So now with compressor, I'm gonna try my best to play soft. And now with it off, I'm literally playing at the same volume. Now with it on, of course I can dig in. With off, so it does raise the volume. The compressor is raising the volume by a lot, and that's what we do in our DAWs. Like we reduce the high, and then we add makeup gain. Now I do that on vocals, and there is a reason why I do that, is because the mic I use, it does not give a lot of volume. Like I use an SM57 most of the times, and I guess my interface, like it's a pretty old interface, so like if I crank the volume up, there's noise. But these are on vocals or mic'd sources. Like on an electric guitar, I don't think I ever use a compressor. Like I don't even think I've ever used a compressor on electric guitar, especially when I'm playing clean. Like maybe when we use a drive, I might have used once or twice. Also, now I don't have the answers, as I've said in a previous video, to all these UU videos, and that's why I make them, to just express my confusion. So like another thing that kind of made me a little surprised is like Tube Screamer, which is one of my favorite pedals. Maybe that'll be a future video sometime, but it heavily compresses, and I didn't know that. Like I just love a Tube Screamer sound, and it heavily compresses. So like drive is essentially compression. So that was shocking, but then I think I'm talking more about cleans, like rather than drives, because I feel like when I'm using a drive, like, so since drive is naturally compression, then why would you even need a compressor? So it again boils down to, why does anyone even need a compressor? Like even if using drives and you like compression, then you don't need a compressor because your drive already compresses it. So I think that is where I'm at. Let's try it with some chords. So as I said, it's used in some genres, right? So let's say I'm playing something like this. Let's try to play something indie. And without it, Reggae. Now, reggae is something I actually do love, and I would say, yeah, reggae does need compression. So, without compression, I like it without the compression. I think I naturally have like I like I'm of course if someone is doing this, then obviously like a compressor would help them. But if you have a general, like good control over like how much volume you put into with your hands, like I think compressor would not be needed even in reggae. If you're doing something like this, I don't want to copyright infringe, but let's play something random. But you know which song I'm referring to. I think this would sound good with a compressor. Let's play one riff from this. Okay, probably too much. Let's not play with the copyright gods. Okay, so yeah, I think it's okay to have it as an optional. Now, I use a DAW. I use software, so if I ever need a compressor, I have it on Amplitude on the red that I use for vocals. But I guess if we're strictly talking about pedals, like I have a, I can always use it when I want it. But buying it as a dedicated pedal, like, or even buying a dedicated plugin, like, I get surprised how many different types of compressors there are. Like, now again, we're going into the realm of studio compression, but like opto compressors, like the LA2A, the 1128 compressor, is that what it's called? The one with the black one with the four by one and infinity by one, where you can press all four. Like, I don't know why we would need so many different types of compressions and how they are so different. Like, I feel like the differences are too subtle, and like sometimes for me, like if the differences is too subtle, it's probably not worth it. I use the same compressor, the red compressor, all the time whenever I need it, and like I have experimented with a few other things, the LA2A of like the IK Multimedia, as well as uh, the famous one, the Universal Audio. But I don't see what is the point of that. And sometimes I use the Ableton compressor, especially if I need ducking, but again, I rarely need it. In plugin, I don't think I've ever used, even in software. Like, I do have the compressor on. No, I might have used it when I'm doing some tapping and stuff, but I don't even know which one. But and I'm surprised how when I hear like some of my favorite musicians, like David Gilmour said in the recent Rick Beato interview, that he, as soon as the compressor pedal was released, the MXR compressor, like he bought it. And I don't think he said he leaves it always on, but like when I think about David Gilmour, I don't feel like he's someone who would use a compressor, because he plays very clean a lot of the times, and like I can't think of him using a compressor. Anyways, that is it. I don't think we should buy it. Maybe just if you if you can really splurge, like maybe if I buy 20 pedals and then the 21st pedal could be a compressor, but definitely if I only have 5 pedals, one of them should not be a compressor. But I will make some music for this song with a compressor on, like, and I think you might have already seen the intro, which I have not yet made, but I will make a intro and then I'll make an outro, and I'll have the compressor on in probably the lead guitar. I don't know what else I'll put, but I'll mention it, maybe, like I'll mention which compressor I used, and then the backing track to that will be on my Patreon. So if you'd like to support the channel, like, please head on over to my Patreon. All the backing tracks that I've made for all these videos are all on Patreon. Besides that, sometimes I have alternate takes of my songs. Those will be there. Demo recordings from phones. Like, I put lots of stuff there. Like, there is some chords to one of my songs, and that's just for $10 a month. And if you just like to support, and you like to support on a lower tier, there's also a $5 tier for which you get two sample packs: the Synthetic India sample pack and the Sitar sample pack volume 1. So please head on over to my Patreon and support the channel. Let's head on over to the outro music.